time to christen the Soarer and get my first coffee in it, so it feels so good to have this car back home. Got my phone working with the stereo. You know I gotta play some Pete.
Free today.
Hi, could I get a large iced cookie dough regular?
Large iced cookie dough regular, anything else?
No, that's it. Let's see if this little cup holder here will actually fit a large iced Dunkin'. Fate of the Soarer is about to be decided. If it can't fit a large iced Dunkin', dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Oh, boys, it fits. I'm sold. Best car ever. I had to climb over my seat, dude. This is a big car. Also, I'm still like trying to learn the dimensions of it a little bit, and I didn't want to pull too close, so I was probably a little far away, but I had to climb like out of the car to get my coffee. All right, now I got a lot of stuff that I want to talk about, but before that, this thing's filthy from the drive back, so we're gonna give it a quick wash at home, and then we can start talking about why the hell I got this car. So let's get to washing. Alright, so she is all clean. Front bumper is no longer covered in bugs. Everything is clean. Cleaning this car really made me realize how good the body is condition-wise. This car is like really nice. So I'm gonna dry the car off, and then we are going to start talking about why I got this car, the plans for it, all that stuff. Get to that in a little bit, but I'm gonna dry the car off and then we'll talk. I need to document this in case I win anything. Ooh, I got a cappuccino. Thankfully not the car. All right, boys. Let's get to the questions, shall we? Need the AC for today. I love that shit so much, dude. It's never gonna get old. I need to take this frickin' steering wheel cover off. Curious to know what the condition of it is behind it. Yeah. Oh yeah, steering wheel's mint. All right, boys, so I figured that I would do this little segment of the video in the car. So I got my tripod and my camera all set up and everything. And yeah, so I have a Toyota Soarer now, and I'm just so excited. I'm so excited with this car. So obviously in the world of YouTube and the YouTubers that are into cars and everything, one of the big things that they like to do is import cars from Japan and build them and all that stuff. I know I left you guys with a lot of questions after I released the video of revealing this car, and that is for what this video is for today. I decided to let you guys ask me the questions, so I threw it on my Instagram. If you're not already following it, follow it right here. I threw it on my Instagram, you know, ask me questions about the car, and I'll answer the best ones in the video that I plan on doing tomorrow, which is today. So I have a small list of questions that kind of were repeated and said the most and everything like that, the ones that are most relevant, and we're just gonna go through them, and I'll tell you my whole plans with this car and all that stuff. So all right, so the first question is what kind of car, because some of the people on my Instagram didn't watch the video yet, which is totally okay. So I'll just fill you guys in. This car is a 1991 Toyota Soarer, and in the US this equivalent car would be a Lexus SC300, and these cars were made in the 90s to be luxury cars and be competitors to, you know, Mercedes and other cars like that, and they aren't really that popular in terms of importing, which is one of the reasons why I wanted one. It's something different, it's something refreshing, and I'm totally into that. I've been sitting at home for the past hour and a half waiting for UPS to show up, and they're literally right in front of me right now going in the opposite direction of my house. So I'm glad that I've decided to just make this video instead of waiting for them. Okay, next question. Plans. This is one of the most repeated questions with this car since I've gotten it. Now, one of the most popular genres of automotive YouTube is drifting. And I have a bunch of friends that drift, and a bunch of them that have rear-wheel drive cars with big motors in them like this one. And they drift, and it's fun, you know, it's cool and everything, but I need you guys to understand that I am not a drifter. I don't see myself ever being a drifter. I film it, it's really cool. I love going to events and stuff like that and watching my friends shred it and tear it up. It's super cool, but me personally, it's not my thing. I haven't been interested in doing it to any car or buying a car intended to drift. So that's not what this car is meant for. I plan on VIPing this car. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick background on what VIP is. Pretty much, to sum it up in the easiest way possible, it's very clean, very tasteful mods aimed at the luxurious side of things. That's what VIP is. And if you ever go to a car show or anything and you see cars that are completely aired out and they have, you know, curtains in their windows and everything, I'm not doing that. They have curtains in their windows and all that stuff. That's what VIP is. That is my intent, that is my goal with this car. And the car's condition is absolutely amazing. Some people were asking what grade this car was in. This car was a 3.5 on the whole Japanese grade scale for car importing. It's got a couple dings and a couple dents here and there. The front bumper is a little faded, but the paint overall is in awesome condition. And I'm stoked that it is in that good a condition, because that means I don't have to restore as much. So this brings me to my next question, which is why auto, why automatic? Do you plan on manual swapping it, all that stuff? So I'm gonna just give you guys the full rundown on why and things like that, why this car is automatic. In the whole car importing scene, in the whole car scene in general, manuals are more sought after. That's just the way it is. And especially with importing cars, when you import an automatic over a manual, the cost is drastically different. And for me, that was what I needed. The manuals in this car, one, are incredibly hard to find. They didn't make nearly as many in manual as they did in auto, because it's a luxury car. There was really no need to have a manual when you can just have an automatic and the gears shift for you and you just enjoy the luxury of the car. Autos are much more commonly found, and I have no issue with that at all. Finding a manual in this car, finding a manual import to import is almost always going to be between $3,000 to $5,000 more expensive than an automatic. And to some people that might not be a lot of money, but to me that is a lot of money just to have a manual. On top of this car being built as a VIP car and being fully done with clean mods and everything like that, I don't really have a need to bang gears, since I'm not going to be drifting this car, I'm not going to be racing this car, I'm going to be VIPing this car. And this car is not going to be intended for drifting, because I am not a drifter. So those are the reasons why I picked an automatic. It was cheaper. The car was built to be a luxury car back in the 90s, and with the route that I'm going with this car to make it luxurious, having an automatic where you can just cruise and enjoy the car is perfectly fine with me. I don't need a manual. As much as that may piss some of you guys off, it's whatever to me. At the end of the day, I imported this car for me, and I want to enjoy it the way I want to enjoy it. So as much as I will take your guys' recommendations and things like that, I also have to think about my pocket. Since I have a lot of friends who are YouTubers as well, they know exactly where I'm coming from, because now I'm experiencing it. And that is, subscribers always want the absolute best thing all the time, because it's entertaining. It's entertaining to watch and all that stuff. And I totally understand it, but at the same time, sometimes it's not realistic for the YouTuber. And that's one of those things right now where this car runs and drives perfectly fine, and since I'm intending it to be a luxury car, a VIP car, a full VIP build, I don't need to buy a $3,000 transmission and do all that stuff when I can enjoy the car the way it is and just have fun with it. So I apologize to you guys for not being able to go out and buy a $3,000 transmission, throw it in the car, and make 600 horsepower. That's really not my intention and not my plan right now. So also, while I'm on the topic of automatics and everything, all of my YouTuber friends besides Tommy and Adam LZ, every car that they've imported from Japan has been automatic, and you guys seem to not care about it as much for them as you do for me, and I have a reasoning for that, and I know it's because all of my cars have been auto on this channel, and it's still whatever to me, but to you guys it's the absolute worst thing in the world. And sure, I understand why, but to me it's just a transmission. I don't care. So if it means that much to you guys where it makes you not want to watch the channel at all because the car shifts a different way, then feel free to leave the video. It will not, change my mind and my direction of this car. I'm just out here to enjoy it and have fun, and I hope you guys can understand that and will still support and be a part of the journey with this car, because it's going to be awesome. Next question, stock body or wide body? I'm going to be aiming to keep it stock body. The car's body is in amazing condition. The front bumper is kind of jank. The earlier 90s Soarers and SC300s, they came with this kind of smiley faced front bumper with a big grille and kind of pointed fog lights, and I'm not a huge fan of it at all. So I will be getting kind of a body kit for the car. Not entirely sure which one I want to go with yet. I may do just a mix-up of body kit parts, because some body kits look good, but there's one thing I don't like about them. But thankfully you can buy the body kits in individual pieces, so I can get a front bumper from this company and side skirts from this company and a rear bumper from this company. So it'll work out in the long run. The car's body itself will probably stay stock, but I do want new bumpers. The car doesn't have side skirts on it, so it will get a set of side skirts. That is 100% a fact. All right, so next question. What engine is in this car? So this car came with 3 engines. The US only came with 2, but in Japan they got a third option, which is what I have. So in America, you got either the naturally aspirated 2JZ or the V8 1UZ. And in Japan, they had a third option for a twin turbo 1JZ, which is what this is. And this car from the factory makes about 278 horsepower, I want to say. I will be doing engine modifications to this car as well. There's some cheap ones, there's some more expensive ones. I don't know if I'm going to be going big single turbo anytime soon, but it is something that may be of interest to me later down the road. Definitely want more noise from the car. The exhaust is 100% factory and it has a lot of restrictions on it, so getting a full custom exhaust is definitely something I will be doing to this car. As these 1Js, they make beautiful sounds, and I was hearing it slightly on the way home, and it was getting me so excited because this is my first turboed car, and I have never experienced this. I'm coming from a car that has 98 horsepower from the factory to a car that almost has 300, and this car gets down. This car gets down, I just did a 20 to 60 and it gets down perfectly fine. I can hear the twin turbos spooling up, everything's stock. It's gonna make so many beautiful noises when it has the correct parts on it, but all of that is obviously within due time. I only have so much money that I can put into this car at a time. So that is the motor that's in this car. I'm super stoked that I was able to find one. The 1JZs in Japan for imported cars are more common, which is actually really cool because it means you get to have a 1J, which is awesome. So part of me wanted to get the 1UZ because when you straight pipe it, it has that really girthy, throaty V8 sound, and it sounds awesome for VIP cars, but I'm more than happy with a 1J. Obviously, these engines are very sought after in the US, and I'm stoked to have one. Next, Evan Shanks. No, I love Evan and I love his videos, but I will not be drifting this car. This car is going to stay clean, stay beautiful. all the proper modifications and everything like that to make this car the best clean car that I've ever made. My coupe was my show car at one point, and my Del Sol was also my show car at one point. Two very different cars. The Del Sol was a full kind of ratted look, which was really cool to me back, when I was first learning to modify cars, but now it really wasn't my thing anymore. I was starting to grow out of it, which is why I sold the car. The coupe was my first experience with a car with a clean body and clean paint, and I was stoked on it. It was my show car for a little bit, and since it was still my daily and a show car, it really wasn't practical to have it slammed and static and cambered and all that stuff, so I swapped it to kind of a more function look. And I do want to keep building that car as well, but building both of these cars at the same time is probably going to prove a little bit to be challenging, because this car is going to be really expensive and the coupe is also going to be really expensive. I'm going to try and keep building both of them at the same time, but I apologize in advance for if there's a plethora of Soarer videos over a plethora of Civic videos. So that's just what might happen. I'm not too sure yet, but I'm gonna try. Of course, I picked the absolute worst road to drive down right now. All right, next question is power goals. So this car, like I said, from the factory makes about 278, 279. I don't know exactly what it makes now since the car is 27 years old, I believe. It's probably maybe around 260, 255, which still proves to be very quick for this car. But I do plan on doing power modifications to it, intake, exhaust, tune, all that stuff. You can tune these cars to make 300 horsepower all day, and I plan on doing that and maybe a little bit more. It's gonna be a super fun experience with anything that I do to this car, just because it's so out of my realm, and I'm very, very much looking forward to it. Next question is hot boy build. I'm gonna take that as you mean like super cambered out with livery all over the thing and crazy stuff like that. Not really too sure. I don't want to have the car have a lot of camber. It was cool with the Del Sol because the car was just kind of like ratty and grungy and aggressive and all that, but I want to keep this car clean. Obviously, when you lower a car, you automatically gain a couple degrees of camber, but I'm not going to be going -20 like I had on the Del Sol. That was crazy and a bit too much. So this car will be lowered, have the right wheels, proper wheels, all that stuff on it in due time. The first modification that we plan on doing is going to be very, very soon. I'm actually going to be dropping the car off, hopefully within the next day or two, to start the process of the first modification, which is going to change the look of this car completely, and I'm so stoked. Interior mods. Okay, this is a good question because I'm still on the fence about it. This car came with a stock cloth tan interior. The back seats are perfect condition. The front seats definitely need to be either reupholstered or changed completely. Not an entire huge fan of cloth interior and tan and all that stuff. I had a daily driver a while back that was an Accord, and it had a full tan interior, and it got dirty super easy. I might do a black interior. The only downsides of black interiors for SC300s and Soarers is it's next to impossible to find. They didn't make a lot of black interior model SCs and Soarers and all that stuff, and the ones that they did make are either beat up, long gone, or the person that owns the car loves it and doesn't want to give it up because it's so rare. So that leads me to, I may have to dye the interior and like paint the interior and stuff like that, which is going to be a really hard process because taking these dashboards out is like, it's next to impossible. It's a process for sure. The rest of the interior is in awesome condition. All the plastics are great. I think I got a vent that's got a crack in it, but you can get a vent from the factory. That's no big deal. But yeah, interior mods, still on the fence about it. It's probably not going to happen soon, but I definitely want to change it up a little bit. The tan is in good condition, but I'd prefer black just because it's a lot harder to show signs of dirt and all that stuff. But I need to research more on dyeing cars and painting and all that stuff. I want to do it right. I don't want to obviously mess up and do the incorrect things to this car. Next question is wheels. Definitely want to get a set of like luxury wheels. They, believe it or not, outside of the realm of work wheels and three-piece wheels and everything like that, they make wheels that were intended for the whole luxury side of design. And I'm looking into some of them right now. The only downside is they are really, really expensive. And I'm trying to talk with a couple companies, seeing if we can work out a deal here and there. There is one company that I'm thinking of right now, and I have talked with them about deals and working things out and all that stuff, and they seem to be into it, which is cool. I'm not going to say what company, because that obviously is just going to give it away, because they don't make too many styles of wheels. They only make 2 or 3 styles, but one of their styles I really, really like. I think that I might go with that choice. Still gonna look at other wheels and stuff like that, but for the time being, I have my eyes set on these wheels that I'm thinking of, and I think that they're gonna be really cool. I've never seen an SC300, SC400, or Soarer on these wheels. I've seen LS400s on these wheels, which I'll bring up the LS400 thing right now. So a lot of people said, why a Soarer, all that stuff. I love big body cars. A lot of people, they don't like them. They're boaty, they're all that stuff, and for fair reason. I totally understand it. They prefer cars that are tighter and all that stuff, smaller, and that's totally fine. I love the big body look, and I also love coupes. I don't mind sedans. I was thinking about getting an LS400 from Japan or an LS400 in the US, but everyone that does VIP starts with an LS400. That's just the way it is. It's the go-to kind of VIP starter pack, if you will. And I didn't want to be part of that. I wanted to do my own thing. And at the same time, I love coupes. I love Lexus. I love big body. I love coupes. The SC300, the Soarer, was the perfect decision, the perfect choice. That'll lead me to another question. Why did you not just get an SC300 in the US? Why did you decide to go with a Soarer and wait this long for it and all that stuff? The SC300s and the Soarers, they have a lot of similar things, but they also have a lot of different things. Obviously, the first thing off the bat is the engine is a 1J. The US models, they didn't come with a 1JZ, so that's the first thing off the bat. The second thing is the cluster. The cluster in the Soarers compared to the SC300s in the US are fully digital, and they're super futuristic, and it was new technology back in the day, and it still is crazy to see this because it's old style design, and it just reminds you of like the 80s, even though this is a 90s car. But so this camera has a 30-minute recording limit on it, so it shut it off. Thankfully, I was pretty close to home. But the last thing that I'm gonna say, and it's kind of a question for me, is the overall opinion on this car so far. We had 0 issues the entire way home. The car drove beautifully, rides amazingly, and it's gonna ride even better very soon. I'm very stoked on it. I love this car so much. The entire long body style of this car is just a beautiful thing to me. I'm so stoked to work on it. Like I said, this front bumper's got a couple, you know, issues here and there, but overall, this car's awesome. Look who is right on schedule. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for the future things coming for this car, because it's all gonna be amazing. It's gonna be an awesome experience, and I'm stoked for it. I hope you guys are stoked for it too. So, I will see you guys in the next one.